As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Sleeping with the Numbers podcast. Sorry for missing last week. A little busy here on my end, but it's actually probably a good thing that I did not put out a show because it did not go well. The bets and everything were still on the website, so you could have tracked and followed them there. We still made bets for that, even though we did not have an episode come out. Didn't go well. We knew it was going to happen. I kept saying, I feel like we're overperforming. And we were. So came back down to earth here a little bit. Still up for the season. On this season, we are still up 37.66 units, which is nothing to complain about. The model currently up 13.07 units, a 20.42% return on investment, but low win rate, 50-50. So it hit that 50% win rate. And again, we talk about how we don't really care how often we win. What we care about is profitability, and we still have that here. The model did poop itself this past week. Week 5, it went 4-7 on the bets, only 36.36% win rate. That gave it a minus 1.24 unit loss. Not the end of the world. That is not a massive loss. We had some big wins with the Bears at plus 245 and Jacksonville at plus 210. That kind of evened us out pretty much. Otherwise, it would have been a much worse day. But those big wins evened us out, and we're on to the next week. Overall, I didn't have a great time either. Helped it a little bit, but we ended up still down as a whole, myself and the model, 0.76 units. So, yeah, all good. It's okay that we are expected to have bad weeks. You're not going to always win in any type of betting, any type of gambling. The expectation is to lose. So keep that mindset going forward. Bad week here and there. It's okay. We're still up for the season, and we're going to keep moving forward. With that said, I did tweak the model a little bit. I won't go into the detail because it's a little nerdy, and I don't know how much folks care. But I did adjust the model a little bit, essentially just changing the weighting of, and that's weighting as in like weights, lifting weights, stuff like that, of the variables that are input into the model for it to make the predictions. We'll see if it performs better. But definitely what I have noticed so far from this tweak is that we've had a lot of underdogs that the model didn't only pick to bet on because there was an edge, but it was also predicting them to win, which, you know, the model's going to do what it does, but that felt a little off to me. And I with the change in the weighting, that helped fix the win rates, I believe, a bit better. So for example, this week, I believe it was Detroit. Detroit is playing somebody. Man, I should know the amount of times I've looked at it, but I should just know by heart who Detroit's playing. Tampa Bay. So with that, originally when I ran the previous version of the model, it had Tampa Bay pretty high win probability. I think it was like in the 80s, which that just felt off to me. I don't disagree that it's possible that Tampa can win. They've been playing very well, but it felt wrong based on just the data that's available, the statistics for each team. It felt like Detroit has been playing well enough that they should be the ones expected to win here by the model. Because remember, the model doesn't care about injuries. It doesn't know about injuries. It knows nothing about that. All it is based on is previous statistics. The other one that was a little off in my mind was, where'd it go here? The Tennessee versus Baltimore, the London game, which I'm getting sick of London games. But here we are with another one. It did have Tennessee predicted to win, which made a little bit of sense, especially since Baltimore lost to the Steelers. But statistically, weren't horrible, especially Lamar. Lamar played pretty damn well. There were just a ton of drops, which, again, the model would not really know about the drops, but it just felt a little off given the Titans have not been great. They haven't been horrible, but they just have not really looked good playing. So that was the other one that felt off, and after I made these adjustments to the model, they kind of flipped, and in my mind, it makes a little bit more sense statistically for them to have those teams kind of predicted to win. So again, I want to let the model do its thing, but playing around with the weighting, I think, is a good move going forward, and we'll see if that's true. So let's get into it. This week, we'll start off with the London game. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Tennessee Titans in London. Ravens 3-2, Titans 2-3. The Ravens are 4.5 point, I guess technically away favorites. Both teams are away, but that's how it's kind of lined up here. So they are 4.5 point favorites. The money line, the over-under at 42.5 feels a little low for these teams, but what we've kind of seen from these London games are a mess. Teams are tired when they first make their way over there. We saw it last week with Buffalo and Jacksonville. Jacksonville was there already and had kind of adjusted to the time change, which, I don't think that's the whole story, but that probably does play a decent factor. If you've ever done any large amount of traveling, that time change can kind of mess with you. It takes a little bit to adjust. Some people never adjust. It will take them a long time, and they're not there long enough for it to really get evened out. So with that said, the model does have the Ravens predicted to win, 52% win chance. However, with that said, it does give, at the current odds, a plus 195 for the Titans, a 14% edge. So the model will be betting on the Titans here, even though they expect the Ravens to win. Remember how these bets work. We bet when there is an edge in the odds, not just betting on the probability of the winner. So that sounds good to me. It's a pretty close match here. The Ravens just need to play to their ability. We have not really seen that high-flying offense that I guess everyone was really expecting with the offensive coordinator changes. Lamar coming back, going to be healthy. Not say he has not looked bad, but it's just not, I think, as high-powered as everyone was predicting in the offseason. So with that said, the over-under, I lean towards the over at this point in time. Again, pay attention to the website, sleepingwiththenumbers.com/bets. And you will see all the official bets there for what I end up actually betting on. That's the best place to keep updated here. Things happen, players get knocked out, and that will change the bet. Not for the model, but for me. So keep track on the website. That is the best place to get the most up-to-date and accurate betting information. But when a bet does hit the bet page, I'm not taking it away. It is there. It is locked in because that means I put money on it. I'm not going to lie and pretend that, I didn't make that bet because it was a bad bet. No. We're going to make bad bets. It happens. We just need to all be upfront and honest about that. I don't like these channels that be like, look at this 10-leg parlay I won. I'm like, that is not how I want to teach people how to bet. I think if you're going to bet, you need to bet as responsibly as possible. I know that's a weird thing to say about gambling, but it is true. You should expect to win. I'm sorry. Wow, I screwed that up. Or you should expect to lose. That's just the way it goes in any amount of gambling. Why would they offer this if they expect to be paying out a bunch of money all the time? It's just not in their favor. So with that in mind, going forward, expect to lose. Next matchup, Washington Commanders taking on the Falcons. Commanders 2-3, Falcons 3-2 the spread. Falcons are 2.5-point home favorites. That makes sense to me. Over under at 42.5. That also feels pretty low. Looking at the past few games, the Commanders have put up 20, 31, and 3. All right, that 3 is pretty bad. But they put 31 up against the Eagles defense, which is pretty damn solid. The Eagles have put up 21, 7, and 6. Now that is where it's rough and probably why this line is as low as it seems to be. For both defenses, I don't think either one is necessarily very good. Let's see here on Pro Football Focus. Yeah, the Falcons are ranked 21st in defense. Washington at 12th. That 12th feels a little pumped up. I know they have the personnel to be that good, but I don't know what it is. But they feel like they are just not playing up to their abilities. But you also get 2 quarterbacks here that are not the best, Ritter and Howe. So it could go both ways. I currently lean towards the over, but again, pay attention to the site for whatever I actually finally lock in. The model, let's see here, the model will be picking the Falcons to win at 55% win probability. However, it did not find an edge for either team. So that means we are not betting on either team here for the money line with the model. The model does not believe there's an edge with betting on either team, which has not happened very often and is another thing that I think is good with the model adjustment I made. I think this might happen a bit more often where it's like, ooh, okay, no, not finding an edge here. Let's not bet it. That happened early in the season, and then these past couple weeks, it felt like we were betting on almost every game, which I don't recommend. You just want to bet the ones that there are an edge, and I think with the change here, we're going to see that a little less. Minnesota at 1-4, taking on Chicago at 1-4. This is just wild. Expected the Vikings to be a lot more high-powered. Now Justin Jefferson is out. Hopefully Jordan Addison can pick it up here. But this is going to be telling. The Bears are 3-point home underdogs, over under a 43.5. And I have no idea what to think about that line. Justin Jefferson's gone. Neither defense is great. Can they just keep scoring? I don't know. I expect the Vikings to continue to pass as often as they have been. The Bears, have they figured it out? Probably not. But Justin Fields did look better, and he looked like a competent quarterback, which I don't think I've ever said. Does that continue? I really don't know, but it's something to keep an eye on here. Personally, I am very likely to not bet this game at all. I just feel like there is a lot of unknowns here, and I don't like doing that. If there's question marks all over the place, that's usually a pretty good sign that you should not take a bet. However, the model has balls of steel and does not care at all. It has Chicago expected to win. So even with that adjustment to the model, this is one that stayed constant. Those behind-the-scenes statistics that the model works on, Chicago padded their numbers enough to get it in their favor. So 84.6% win probability for the Bears, 15.35 for the Vikings. Massive edge here for the Bears at plus 140, 42.979% edge. So that means the model will be taking the Bears, and then myself, I am personally just staying away from this game for betting over, under, spread, anything like that. I just really do not know, but we'll let the model do its thing. We'll put that $10 unit bet on it, and we'll see what happens. Seattle coming off the bye week. They are 3-1, doing very well against the Bengals, who seem to have got their groove back. Joe Burrow, well, I think everyone looks good against the Cardinals. So maybe don't take too much of that into account, but they're 2-3 here. Joe Burrow seemed to be back, have a good game. They are 3-point home favorites with an over-under of 45. That is a over that I feel decently confident in. If both of these offenses get going, there's going to be a lot of scoring to be had. Both defenses are they're okay. They're kind of middle of the pack. But we'll see what happens here. I think the offenses for both teams take over. Pete Carroll has had a lot of time to plan for this game with the bye week. So personally, I lean Seattle. I will likely be taking them +3. I think there's a little bit of an overreaction to thinking the Bengals are back, but the +3 feels good to me. So I think that's where I lean in terms of the spread. For the model will be taking Seattle as well. So the model not only has the edge for Seattle at 54%, that might be the biggest edge. Let me see. I think that's the biggest edge of the week. Yes, it is. So biggest edge of the week goes to Seattle here, coming off the bye, giving them a 96% win probability. And I agree. I don't think I'd go 96%, but I do agree that I think I expect the Seattle Seahawks to come out and win this game. If not, if the Bengals do, if they are back and they come out and make this game look easy, then you're going to see a big shift for them moving forward in terms of the lines. All the sports books are going to be like, yep, all right, the Bengals are back. And then it's going to be very unlikely to see them in this close of a matchup in terms of Vegas odds and spreads. So the model, taking the Seattle Seahawks to win at +136. San Francisco, Cleveland. What a low expected scoring game. 49ers undefeated, traveling to Cleveland to take on the 2-2 Browns. Browns coming off the bye week without Deshaun Watson. He has already been ruled out for this game. Who is playing instead is the right question to ask. It is PJ Walker. I think that seems to be the expectation. The rookie couldn't get it done last time when Watson was rolled out, so they're going to bring in PJ Walker. You may remember him from Carolina. Not great, but he did enough at times. So that is why the over-under is at 36, because you get PJ Walker coming in here as a quarterback, and you have two pretty damn good defenses facing off against each other. And like we talked about a couple weeks ago when I looked up how many times it's been it's been the under when it is 36.5 or lower, and the majority of the times it ends up the under. So that may be the bet here. How do they score? The real thing is the 49ers can put up 36 on their own. How does Cleveland score? And being a Steelers guy, I would never really bet in Cleveland's favor. If I'd likely just not take the bet at all and see how it plays out. But it feels low, and because it's that low, I almost always enjoyed taking the over. But after I started digging into the numbers a bit more, when it is expected to be that low, Vegas is usually right, and the under is probably the better bet here. So I keep an eye on the site, but that is where I am leaning for the moment. The model, 1.17% win chance for Cleveland, 98.83% win chance for San Francisco, and the model found an edge here. However, those odds are at -450. We're not taking that bet. That just is not worth the little amount of return you may get if they win. There's always a chance that Cleveland wins as well. That can always happen. So we are just staying away from this bet because it is less than -200. The better bet might just be taking San Francisco -9.5. That might be the better move than taking a pretty juiced up money line for San Francisco. The defeated Carolina Panthers at 0-5 travel to Miami to take on the 4-1 Dolphins. Pretty big spread. I think this is the biggest spread of the week at 14. Yep. No, Buffalo Giants. Buffalo is a 15-point favorite. So second largest of the week. Man, that's a tough one. Miami were really favored on the money line. Pro Football Focus is showing it at minus 1,029. Let's see if we found better odds anywhere. Yes, we found it at minus 909, which doesn't matter because we would never take that bet even if an edge was found, and it wasn't. The edge was found for the Carolina Panthers. This is really just because the odds for the Panthers are massive, plus 750. So pretty much it seems like anytime a line or the money line is set at like plus 400 or greater, doesn't matter how low the win probability is, the model's going to find an edge just because the odds are so massive. So at plus 750, that might be the biggest dog we've taken all season. I think the other one was like plus 600 in that range for Arizona when they beat Dallas. So it can be done. Let's see if the Panthers get it done here at plus 750. That is where the model is going with a 11.775% edge found on that money line. Over under 47.5. I currently lean towards the under. All the scoring is expected in Miami's favor. How's Carolina scoring? I don't know. Miles Sanders out. That's a tough one. They're just going to pepper Adam Thielen with targets. So if you're in a PPR league and have Thielen, that's probably the thing to do. I just don't know how Carolina wins this game. That's going to be a very tough one. But if they do, we will have that plus 750 moneyline bet locked in. Divisional matchup, Indianapolis at 3-2. No more Anthony Richardson. He does go on IR. That's a rough one. I have him on a couple teams. And now I'm kind of scrambling for a quarterback. In the one league, I have Kirk. So that works, but now he's without Justin Jefferson. So I'm a little nervous going into that one. And my other league, I just straight up don't have a quarterback at this moment. I have to pick someone up, and there's no one worth playing. So I'm worried there. But the Colts are coming to play the 3-2 Jaguars. Jaguars finally back in Jacksonville. They are not in London anymore. They are 4-point home favorites, over under at 44. And I think I disagree with that. I understand the point change with Gardner coming in here, but I can see this being pretty back and forth. Yes, Gardner's probably a downgrade from Richardson in terms of fantasy standpoint. But in real life football, I don't think that gap is that bad. I think Gardner can come out and win a game by passing the ball. And they have great running backs. They have a great offensive line. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not afraid of the Jaguars defense at all. So I currently lean towards the over in this matchup. But doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the model thinks. And the model believes there is an edge with the Jacksonville Jaguars at minus 200. So that's right on the line here. It'll be taking the bet there. 13.281% edge. 79.95% win probability expected for the Jags. New Orleans going to be taking on Houston. This is a interesting line. In my mind, I do think the Texans win this game. However, the Saints just came off of beating the dirt out of the Patriots, 34-0. The Saints defense is very, very good. But the Texans have not been playing bad, at least not as bad as everyone expected going into the season. Stroud is showing that he is a capable quarterback, And maybe we finally get the Ohio State guy proving it in the NFL. I'm not convinced yet, but he has definitely looked better than Justin Fields did his first season, and really any other Ohio State quarterback that has come into the NFL in the past, 15 years, something like that. So I like Stroud. I have him on a dynasty team. I'm very excited about his future so far, but we'll see if that remains in the years to come. Houston, always a wild card, but they do not look bad. They really don't. So 2-3 here for the Texans, 3-2 for the Saints. Saints are a 1.5 away favorite. Over under of 42.5. That is probably very likely because the Saints defense is very good. So that one's tough. I gotta dig into that a bit further. Currently, I think it can hit the over. I mean, they just put up 34 on the Patriots, 9 against Tampa Bay, which is a pretty solid defense, 17 against Green Bay, which is not a great defense. The Texans put up 19 against Atlanta, 30 against the Steelers, that one hurt, and then 37 against the Jaguars. 30 against the Steelers is probably the biggest thing there because the Steelers are actually a pretty solid defense. I don't know why they just broke down in that game, and it was just painful to watch. Luckily, they're on bye, so maybe we get things a little back together. But we did have a good win against the Ravens before the bye week. So I do lean towards the over here at 42.5. Both teams should be able to score. Let's see if Carr can actually play football. But if he can't, that just means Kamara is going to get 10 targets, and it's going to be awesome for my full-point PPR team. So with that said, I do personally lean on the Texans. I will likely be taking them plus 1.5, and I currently lean towards the over. The model also believes the Texans will win, 62.94% win chance, and a 16.429% edge on the Texans at plus 115. So that is where the model will be going. I completely feel fine with that. I do think the Texans win this game, which I don't think I would really ever say. And I think when I ran through like the season to get my over-under total wins for each team, I'm pretty sure I had the Saints winning this game. And now it's just crazy to see how much things change. And here we are. I'm expecting the Texans to win. Next matchup here, we get New England against Las Vegas. New England looking rough. Belichick going up against his old buddy. I don't know if they're buddies. They might have never been buddies. But Josh McDaniels in Vegas. The Raiders are 3-point home favorites. Patriots have only won one game. The Raiders have won 2. Over under a 41.5, probably because they think both teams suck butt, which if you look at the Patriots' last 3 games, no points scored, 3 points scored, 15 points scored. Not great. The Raiders, 17 points, 17 points, 18 points. So that under is looking pretty good to me. However, with that said, I personally think the Patriots can win this game. The Raiders are not great. Belichick knows McDaniels very well, and I think Belichick is pissed off. So I rarely like betting against old Billy. So personally, I think I take the Patriots plus 3 here. The model, see if it agrees with me. The model, nope, completely against me. 99.513% win probability for the Raiders, a 40.329% edge at minus 145 on the money line. The model, dig into Raiders here. And remember how the model works. It is all based on statistics. When you put up 0 points, 3 points, 15 points, the model is going to hate you. So that's what we're going into here. Again, the model doesn't have feelings. It doesn't care about much else. It does not take the human element into the equation at all, quite literally. But yeah, that is just personally how I feel. So the model will be taking the money line. I don't know if I'll hedge this one. I will definitely take the +3 spread for New England. But keep an eye out if I hedge. This might be one that's pretty close to a coin flip. And if it is, I generally lean towards betting on the underdog. And the over-under of 41.5. Man, neither team can really score is what it feels like. So I feel pretty good about an under there. Detroit, Tampa Bay. Finally what seems to be a pretty competitive matchup here. Lions 4-1. Buccaneers 3-1. Coming off their bye, they are at home. And they are 3-point home dogs. This one is very close to me. Other than what the model decides here, I don't know if I really want to bet on this game. Other than I think I would take the over. I think both teams are going to be able to score. I also think both teams' defenses are very talented. So this could be a grudge match. It might be low scoring, but at 42.5, I feel pretty good with that over. Let's keep an eye on it. I think I'm going to stay away from the spread, but the model, I'm actually curious about this one. The model really on the Detroit Lions at -160. They will be taking that bet because it found a 30.893% edge, giving just a 7.57% win probability for the Bucs. That seems pretty low to me. I know Detroit has been playing extremely well. They put up 42, 34, 20 in their last 3. That's pretty good. And with the way the model is weighting those, that looks extremely well on paper. Bucs 26, 11, 27. So, yeah, I have a hard time betting on Baker in general, so I probably won't hedge this one. I'll ride with the model, taking the Lions. Spread, I'm probably going to stay away from. Over, under, I lean towards the over. Am I confident enough to take that bet? Keep an eye on the site, and you'll find out. I'm going to lock everything in. I usually lock things in Saturday night, Sunday morning, but it will definitely be in before game time. So keep an eye there. As I update my sheet, the website automatically updates. Divisional matchup, Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Cooper Kupp is back. Cooper Kupp is here to take all of the receptions, all of the touchdowns. But Puka, he gets enough. The Rams are 7-point home favorites. That sounds pretty right to me. Over under of 48. That is a little rough. Cardinals 20, 16, 28 in their last 3. The Rams 14, 29, 16 in their last 3 games. So can they get there? Yes, but I think both teams really need to play extremely well. Divisional matchups are always tough because the teams know each other extremely well. So I personally lean towards the under 48 at this moment. LA at -323 according to Pro Football Focus. The model will find a better line. But that already tells me that the model is very likely going to be betting on Arizona. Let's find out. No. Wow. Okay. So at +270, the model does not like Arizona enough to win, nor did it find an edge. At -300, which is where we found the best odds, a 90.762% win chance, there's a 15.762% edge on the Rams. So what that means is the model will not be taking a bet just because the line is a little too juiced for it to take. Not much return. I'm actually surprised. So I think the previous model, before I made these tweaks, would have taken the Cardinals. So we'll see if that's good. Like I said, this is a pretty fun experiment to do on here because it's purely based on mathematics. So again, I'm letting the model do its thing. I am not interfering as much as possible. I'll tweak the model probably every now and then. I don't know if I'll need another tweak by the end of the season. But this weight adjustment is preventing a bet from being made, which may be a good thing. So we will find out. We will keep an eye on it moving forward, but no bet here. However, I do kind of like that Arizona +7, and I do like the under 48. So that will likely be where I lean on this match, but in terms of the money line, not going to touch it. Philadelphia against the Jets. Jets, 6.5 point home underdogs. Little closer than I was expecting. Over under a 41.5. That does surprise me a bit. I know we got some good defenses here. Eagles offense obviously able to score. Jets, I mean, they beat the Broncos 31-21. But it's also the Broncos, so not super impressive there. Kind of similar to the Bengals beating Arizona. It's like, yeah, they should have done that. Both defenses pretty good. Currently, I'm probably hands off of this game. I don't know. I don't have enough confidence one way or the other for the over-under, so I might just watch this one and enjoy. This might be a sneaky fantasy stack in DraftKings for a game stack. You know, a lot of people are probably going to be going for the higher under-overs of the week, as they should. That's how you should play. But this might be one that goes under the radar. You know, you get a Hurts, AJ Brown stack, or if you want to go a little cheaper, Devonta Smith. You can maybe even sneak Goddard in there. He seems to be back. I don't know the pricing on him, but that might be something to check out. And then on the Jets side, you might be able to come back with a Garrett Wilson. I don't usually like a bring back with a running back, but Brees did his job against the Broncos, which pretty much all running backs have. So hopefully he's completely back, but I don't think this is a horrible match to stack, even with the low over-under. It just means there's not a lot of scoring, but in between the end zones, there's going to be fantasy points to be had in this game, I think. So if you want a sneaky low-owned roster percentage game stack, this might be one you can throw in there. The model will be betting on the Jets here. They found a 50.302% edge at +260. They still predict the Eagles to win the game at 56.92% win probability, but the edge is coming on the Jets side, so they will be taking them at +260. Sunday night football. Somehow the Giants are here, which is sad. They're 1-4. No Daniel Jones. Bills 3-2 somehow. Over under 44 points. That's probably heavily in, well, it is heavily in the Bills' favor. Bills are favored -15 at home. This is going to be a massacre. Let's see if the odds are good enough for the model to take the Giants. Nope. Giving the Giants a 0.803% win probability means the Bills get a 99.197% win probability, and they still found an edge, a 7.5% edge at -1,099 for the Bills. So definitely not taking that bet. I don't even want to bet the spread. That is so large. I don't want to mess with it. The over under of 44, the Bills might get 44 themselves. So the over might be the move here. Everything else I am not touching. The model's not touching. The model would touch if the odds were better, but -1,099, there's zero chance we're taking that. Yeah, it's really all there is to say about that game. I can't even say it will be fun to watch because it's just going to be a massacre. I don't know if many people enjoy watching massacres. There's some fucked up people that do, but that's what this game is going to be. So I'm sorry, Giants fans. Saquon, I hope you're back. I hope you're healthy. Good luck is where I will end that one. We end the week with a exciting matchup. I do like this one a lot. 3-2 Cowboys taking on the 2-2 Chargers. Chargers coming off the bye. Austin Eckler seems to be back. Chargers are a 1.5 home favorites. I will be taking that 1.5 for the Chargers. Over under a 51. I do lean towards the under there. Defense on the Cowboys obviously good. Not playing as well as they were, but they're still good. I do lean towards the under 51 here. I like the Chargers to win this game outright. So if the model takes the Cowboys, very likely I'm going to hedge that one on the money line, and I will absolutely be taking the 1.5 spread. Model, yeah, baby. All right, the model, 69.092% win chance for the Chargers, giving them a 22.58% edge at plus 115. The model and I are riding together on this one to end out the week, and that is how we will end it here. That is awesome. Thanks for listening to the show. I'm sorry I took off last week, but you did not miss anything. Trust me, those losses are taking into account for our totals. So yeah, I'm not hiding anything from anyone. The sheet will have every bet we make. Let's turn it around this week. Let's get it done. Follow the bets at your own will. Play to your bankroll. Everyone's unit is different. I still crack up every time I say that. It's so silly. Personally, I play $10 bets. That will be my unit I do here. I bet on everything the model tells me to, and then I do the spread in the money line. I'm sorry, the spread in the over-under on my own. Your unit might be $5, $1, $2, 50 cents. Some places let you do that. But bet what you are willing to lose. Do not ever bet anything you can't afford to lose. And as always, you should expect to lose, sadly. That's just the way of the game, but we try to make it better. Let's keep pushing forward. The DFS lineup that I post for free on our TikTok, Sleep SWTN podcast on the TikTok. I will be posting our lineups there before the games start. Best of luck to you, and we will talk next week. Bye-bye.